Today is the first day of the year. We are lucky to be part of those who have seen a new year. Not everybody had the opportunity. Today we celebrate the Theotokos. What does Theotokos mean? It means the bearer of God or the mother of God. Mary is the bearer of God or the mother of God. Why are we saying Mary is the mother of God? I want to explain with a series of questions. Do you agree, all of you, do you agree that Jesus is God? You agree that Jesus is God. Do you agree that it is Jesus we are worshiping here? Do you agree that he is a member of the community of the Blessed Trinity? Of course he is. Do you also agree that Jesus has two natures, the nature of God and the nature of man? Of course he has two natures. Do you also agree that Jesus is fully God and fully man? Of course, again, you agree. If he is fully God and if he is fully human, as a human, he must have a mother, right? And his mother is Mary. Still further, let me say this. Father Vieswav is up there. If you see his mother, you may likely refer to his mother as the mother of a priest. Or if you see my mother, you may likely refer to my mother, the mother of a priest. All that your children are, or your child is you are addressed by what they are, or whoever they are, or whatever they are. So, by the virtue of Father Vieswav being a priest, his mother will be called the mother of a priest. Now, if we all have agreed that Jesus is God, shouldn't her mother be called the mother of God? Right? So, whoever you are, your parents will be addressed by what you are. And so, since Jesus is God, it is fitting that we should call Mary the mother of God. But this is just to explain to you what we are celebrating, but how is it relevant to us? My intent this morning is to build some kind of Marian devotion in us as we begin this year and as we are making our resolutions. And I'm going to paint this with the year. 1 year. A year has 12 months, and that is how I'm going to analyze how we should devote ourselves to Mary and what we will benefit by devoting ourselves to her. It is no coincidence that Mary, we celebrate the solemnity of the Mother of God on the very first day of the year. It is no coincidence, because for every human life to begin, there must be a birth. I'm not talking, yes, human life begins from the womb. I'm talking about earthly existence. It begins from birth. So, if we are devoted to Mary, the January of our spiritual lives is when she gives birth to us. Just like the January of Jesus' life was when she gave birth to Jesus. The February of our life becomes when she dedicates us to God, just as the way she dedicated Jesus to God. The March of our lives becomes her doing everything to protect our soul from getting lost and even rescuing us, escaping with us to a safe place so that our souls will not be lost, just as she did to Jesus when Herod was looking for every means to kill Jesus. She escaped with baby Jesus to Egypt. The April of our lives. She does everything, if we devote our lives to her, to ensure that if we are lost, we will be found. Do you remember when she went to Jerusalem with Jesus, and then after 3 days, she noticed that Jesus was missing? She did everything. She never stopped searching until she found Jesus again. When we devote ourselves to her, she does everything, even when we have wandered off the track God has made for us. She does everything human possible, divinely possible, to ensure that we find our way back. The May of our lives represents her treasuring all that concerns us for our lives to be saved. She treasures everything about our salvation that will ensure that we are saved. Just as the way, like we read in the gospel, all that was said of the baby Jesus, she kept in her heart and reflected on them. That is what she does for us. The May, the June of our lives. In the Hail Mary, it is said, "Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus." Now, the fruit of the womb is obviously Jesus. But when we become her children, we share in the blessedness, not up to the measure of Jesus or Mary, but we share in the blessedness. So when we become children of Mary, when we devote ourselves to her, we share in the blessedness we recite in the Hail Mary. The July of our life presents to us Mary as a model for our spiritual journey. Do you remember when she went with Jesus' relative to see Jesus, and Jesus was teaching the people, and they said, "Your mother is here with your relatives to see you"? He said something. "Those who hear my word and keep it are my mother, my brothers and sisters," presenting to us Mary as the model of our spiritual life. The August of our life represents her constantly interceding for us, just like the way she did for the couple who invited her for the wedding at Canaan. If we invite her into our lives, she constantly intercedes for us, ensuring that things are always in place. The couple were not even aware that they were running out of wine, but she went ahead to meet Jesus to ask him to provide more, that which is lacking in our spiritual life. If we invite her into our lives, she will constantly intercede for us. The September of our lives represents we proclaiming her to the world boldly. Jesus was not afraid, was not ashamed to talk about her mother to Jesus, from the instance I said when he said something about the mother when they came to look for him. The October of our lives represents her staying with us even in the hard times, even when we go through hard times. She is always with us, just like she was with Jesus all through the passion. At the foot of the cross, she was with Jesus. She never leaves her children alone. If we stay with her, she will never leave us alone. The November of our lives represents this, the end of our lives. She is always there. Back to the Hail Mary again. You will hear this when we pray the Hail Mary. Pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. The lifespan of our lives, now and at the hour of our death, when we stay with her, she ensures that from during the course of our lives to the end of our lives, she's always with us to ensure that we secure our souls in heaven. And then the December of our lives, she ensures that your legacy and my legacy lives on. How do I mean? Even when Jesus had gone to heaven, after the ascension, she was with the disciples, the apostles, to ensure that what Jesus had taught them goes on. If we invite her into our lives as parents, as future parents for young people, even when you have led a very wonderful and holy life and gone to heaven, she will still be with your children. So, as we make resolutions this new year, things we want to do, things we don't want to do, let us make her part of our plans. And as we do that, we will grow from strength to strength spiritually this year. God bless you.